Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of the Innovation Circuit with Theta. I'm Liz Knight, Theta's Head of Cybersecurity, and I'm joined today by Andrew Taylor, Head of Product and Innovation. Hey Andrew.
Hi.
And Jeff Wogen, our Head of Digital. Hi Jeff.
Hi Liz.
Welcome to part 2. We're talking about tech trends and their relevance and usefulness to us as we head into 2026. If you missed part 1, go back, give it a listen after this one to make sure you get the full breakdown of topics. To recap, what we discussed today grew out of a series of executive events we have been running recently around New Zealand. Using a simple web app, which Andrew vibe coded especially for the events, we asked attendees to swipe right if a tech trend would be relevant to their business in the next 12 months, or swipe left if it wouldn't, giving us real-time snapshot of what leaders are expecting to see over the next 12 months. I'll share some of our key stats from these events at the end of each topic. The first trend we're covering today is around human-machine synergy and immersive experiences. I'm still eyeing up which XR glasses will be on my Christmas wish list, Andrew. What are you seeing in this space?
Yeah, it is an interesting space. I think it kind of it fell out of favor or got forgotten about slightly with when Gen AI came along. The whole concept of metaverses and Apple Vision and the headset space disappeared from people's consciousness. To an extent, it was overtaken with Gen AI, but it's definitely still a thing, and it's a thing that's continuing to progress. Spatial computing, mixed reality, augmented reality, immersive experiences, those are still things that are definitely in play. Apple is still working on apparently 7 vision projects and is looking at a 2027 mixed reality glasses release. They've got their full virtual reality capability at the moment, or I guess you could say it's mixed as well. But probably the biggest announcement in this space recently has been from Meta, who came out with the Ray-Ban display glasses. So they had a previous version of glasses, but the glasses from Ray-Ban and their partnership with Ray-Ban are audio only. So you can hear things. They've got cameras, but they're audio only. But this latest version from them includes a display. So it's a little heads-up display, if you like, just in your right eye. So it doesn't go across both eyes, but it's a very bright screen apparently, or that you can see in bright sunlight as well. So it's like a little heads-up display that you can see what's going on in that. It could be chat things. It could be just the preview of the photo you're going to take with it. It can be things like directions. It's quite a rich experience from a glasses perspective, and a lot of people who've had an early go with it are very impressed with its capability. So
yeah, I've been seeing all those good reviews come out.
Yeah. So quite an impressive breakthrough from them. And the interesting thing with this is it's also paired with a wristband. And the wristband, this whole area of immersive experience is also, talking about those wearable side of things, not just the wearing on your face, but the wearing on your wrist or other kinds of monitors. And this wristband picks up electrical signals in your wrist and uses that to detect what kind of gesture you're doing. So pinching or turning your hand can be turning up and down volume by just turning your hand like that. And in future, being able to write with your finger on a surface, and the wristband can detect what letter shapes that you're making, so that you can have those come up in your vision as well. So there's some really interesting things happening in that space, and telemedicine is another part to that, advancing things with preventative healthcare or delivering health services, like even the AirPods and the Ray-Bans offering some great support for people with hearing loss. So the latest version of Apple AirPods have got increased support as almost a replacement for hearing aids, and the Ray-Bans with the new screen can let you subtitle in real time what somebody's saying. So the person you're talking to, you can see exactly what they're saying as it's transcribed in real time for you. So even if you've got a bit of hearing loss, it's a loud environment, that can help you read what they are saying in real time. So there's some really great accessibility features in this space as well. I guess the ultimate level of that is the things like the brain-computer interfaces, and there you've got the Neuralink and the UC Davis University, which has created a brain-computer interface that will turn brain signals into speech for paralyzed patients. So there's some pretty impressive advancements when we get very immersive technologies, as in immersed into you, which still feels like a kind of scary space for me. But yeah, there's a lot happening in this space, from the simple wearables through to direct implants into brains. That wristband is kind of almost like the first mass market neural interface because of the way it picks up those electrical signals, but through your wrist. So it's a lot of interesting stuff happening here, and is a bit of a differentiator from organizations that just do software things to being able to play in the hardware space, and it's definitely a place to differentiate these days.
A very interesting space to watch evolve. Only 34% of our execs swipe right on this one, which shows that these technologies are still really to demonstrate their value beyond the niche use cases. So we'll see. We'd be remiss not to include AI in our list of tech trends. Recent articles are varied in their reports of just how effective and productive AI is actually making us. One thing is for sure, it's here to stay. Jeff, what are your thoughts on where we are at today with AI and what is needed as it's continuing to scale?
Yeah, well, I mean, AI is, I suppose, the broad subject here, but the attention getter is generative AI, Gen AI, right? And surprisingly, I thought snuck up on me as well, but it's been 3 years since OpenAI unleashed ChatGPT on us, on the world, and it's evolved quite significantly. We can see the way it evolves from month to month of the advancements that continue to be made in that space. I saw an interesting stat recently about the number of enterprises that are adopting Gen AI. And that could be how they're adopting the models or the way that they're adopting applications into their environments. So 2 years ago, it was less than 5%. But next year is expected to be over 80%. So that's a pretty huge swing in a short period of time. But beyond the typical prompting and conversation model that we're all used to, Gen AI is evolving from that to this notion of autonomous agents. So also known as agentic AI, think of it as AI systems that are capable of independent decision-making and more autonomous behavior. And if you're like me and that makes you think of the Matrix or the Terminator, that leads nicely into the next topic of responsible AI and trust. So as this AI adoption grows, and it really is growing quite a lot, so we see it all over with our customers and other organizations, that as this adoption grows, naturally the notion of governance comes to mind, and the need for robust governance to ensure that what they're doing in that space is compliant, it's ethical, and it's trustworthy. And it's really become a board-level priority from what we're seeing. So I saw in a McKinsey survey last year that it's already up to 63% of organizations that have adopted AI, and those are the ones that are now making efforts to mitigate the risk of inaccurate AI, the AI-generated information that is wrong or damaging. And that's up from 37% the year before. So really the short of it with that, I would say, is that with wider adoption comes a need for wider governance and a mind towards risk. And it's a complex area, to be honest, and therefore it's kind of intimidating for a lot of organizations maybe, that they feel maybe ill-prepared to handle what they need to do to prepare for that. So what we've seen, though, is that organizations that do adopt a consistent AI risk management practice and all of that, they're really making strong efforts to reducing that potential harm, the financial and reputational damage that can go with it. So all that leads up to the idea of trust in AI, which is, to be honest, pretty foundational as we adopt, to be able to trust what it's showing us, what it's giving us. And that trust can be easily lost, sometimes even stolen by misusing AI. And we all have seen that, I'm sure, through deepfake images or video or audio. And all that stuff is accessible to most anyone out there these days.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Being able to trust AI in all aspects of its use is critically important for us all. There are now over 1,550 Gen AI SaaS applications, so online AI applications that our employees and people can access. So shadow AI and the implications of that have the potential to be a very real issue for data protection. So yeah, an area very passionate to my heart, I guess, as head of cyber. It goes without saying that both of these trends scored very high, with over 80% of our audience having AI and AI trust playing important roles in their roadmap over the next year or so. Andrew, your team leverage AI every day. What do you see as the challenges for the workforce with AI? What impact is this kind of automation of skills likely or already having on our workforce?
Yeah, I think it's a big question, and it's definitely already having an impact. I mean, within my team, we use it a lot. We use AI assistants on all kinds of things. We use a lot within development as well. So it's definitely redefining jobs, and it's redefining the required skill sets, and working that out as a moving target. It is creating some new job categories, I think. So there are AI trainers, ethics, privacy officers, that kind of trust picture that Jeff talked to. There is demand for people who can assess that better and understand the risks. But then there's also automation managers trying to figure out the use cases, and AI testers, because testing AI systems is a completely different ballgame. And then from the cyber perspective, for you, Liz, I guess there's opportunities around red teaming too, testing these systems and seeing where the exploitations can be made of these AI systems, especially where you've gone agentic and put them into an automated workflow. There's some serious cyber testing to be done in that space. So there's opportunities there. There's also, like you mentioned, I vibe coded this app that we used for the exec lunches, but who's going to support that later? No, nobody. So it's almost a throwaway piece of code. But if you want to have something that's going to go into production, then somebody's got to support this vibe-coded software, and someone probably needs to security test that vibe-coded software too. So there's definitely, as much as it opens opportunities to do more, there's also potentially more opportunities for people to look after these things, or in turn use AI to look after these things. I think the human-centric skills, the creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, those things remain, and possibly are even more critical with AI. Because we really need to use good judgment when we use these systems, and that still feels to me like a very human thing. Otherwise, we're just using AI to accelerate us to stupid faster. So good judgment is required. It's not only about AI. I think there's the quantum engineers, there's the mixed reality engineers, cybersecurity, robotics, maintenance I talked about when we were talking about robots. But AI does up the ante across all those things. So, and a lot of people have been predicting for a while that static careers are going to be replaced by continuous learning and agile role transitions. And it's very difficult, as a parent, to figure out, what do you tell your kids to go into training to do. And I know from the recent Institute of Directors conference that was a topic on directors' minds as well. For junior roles, people coming out of university, what are the roles available to them? How do we keep hiring junior roles, which are at most risk from automation from AI, where some of the senior roles are more able to be augmented with AI rather than fully automated. So McKinsey says that 20% of the global workforce may need to switch occupations by 2030. So that's a pretty big disruption. But even right now, like in June this year, Microsoft laid off 9,000 staff worldwide because of AI was the sort of strapline to that. They equally said there were new roles being created by AI, but it's having an immediate impact. Now it's not just a later thing. And on the extreme end, there are a handful of people that are benefiting extremely from this. If you're a top AI researcher, you might find there's incredible demand and a bidding war over your talent. Meta recently signed a researcher for a $250 million contract over 4 years. So there's some really interesting stuff happening in workforce space for technology now too.
Nice salaries too. This was another area which was really popular with our exec lunches, with over 82% of the audience agreeing that these new ways of working are an important trend for them. I'm, for one, feel a little reassured that there's going to be new roles as old roles get replaced, because no one wants to hear that people are getting laid off due to AI. It's a hard thing to hear, so good to see some positive new roles coming out of that, and especially for our graduates that are coming out of university. Great talent. We just need to point them in the right direction and watch them go. So that's the end of our trends for today. Just before we go, I've got one quick fire question for both of you guys. I'll start with you, Andrew. What is the tech trend that excites you the most out of all of these?
For me, I'm quite interested in the human-machine synergy side of things. I quite like the idea, having been a glasses wearer almost my whole life, I quite like the idea of just having a more advanced pair of glasses. And maybe if it can get to the point where I'm not, holding my phone or looking at my phone, but instead seeing what I need to see through my glasses, then that seems like quite an attractive thing. Put the phone away, look up. On the flip side of it, it's kind of scary because if you can't see if somebody else is looking at their screen instead of looking at you. So pros and cons to that.
Yeah. And how about you, Jeff? What's the trend that excites you the most?
For me, I would say it's the quantum computing one. It's just it's fascinating, not only from the technology and the physics behind it, how to make it work, but the possibilities of what it can bring and what it can do, and how it will. I think it's going to be one of the biggest disruptors out there when it comes along in full force.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting to see what's going to come in the medical spaces, with quantum computing. With the combination of AI and quantum together, I think our world's going to change instantly. Very exciting. Well, thanks for joining us for this episode of the Innovation Circuit with Vita. Remember that you can go back to and listen to part 1 on tech trends if you missed it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the links in our show notes. Thanks, everyone.